Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're watching. Myself and Andy with your post-match late tackle. It's been a long time since we did one of these, but with Az on your sick bed, it was only about. I thought we would jump into the shoes and do another show, Andy. It's been ages. When was the last time?
It really has been a while. I was trying to work this out the other day. It's been weeks. It's been a while, I think. I started catching you up, and then you
Oh
became
yeah, that's when I lost
unavailable.
interest. That's right. I went.
Yeah.
At the point you started doing well, I just went missing.
It always happens. I mean, Az has done it all year, hasn't he? So it's.
Well, we've been waiting.
Az is in the chat, by the way.
Is he? He said. I thought he was on his
bless
sick
him.
bed.
No.
So yeah, the way it went was we were going to do BlackBox proper last night, and then Az got man flu, and I think you can still say that, can you? You're still allowed to say man flu?
Probably, yeah.
And then did you see that photo he sent us this morning? Pathetic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. With his dressing gown on and his bottom lip out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I said to him, "Did you send that to your employer?" He probably did as well. It was I was
he
going to
probably
make a screen of it, but I thought, no, I better not show him up. We'll just show him up verbally as we normally do. But
You haven't got it. I thought you'd be showing that.
yeah, I was tempted. He should change his profile pic, I think. Don't you think?
Yeah. I think it'd be good. I think it kind of encapsulates his season.
So
Dressing gown, done in, bottom lip out.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it basically does. I think in the post-mortem show, end of the season, I'll use that image for him.
Yeah.
Good to see him in the chat. There's a lot of people in the chat. Let's bring the chat up, shall we, and say hello to people. There he is, Az Phillips. There he is. Nigel the Crab in the house, as always. Thank you, Nigel, for your support. And there he is, Mr. Admin, Greg Fost, Adam Clark. A lot of the regulars in here, as I see, as I look up. Connor Richardson's in, FBL Mackham, Blort, Mark Calm, Fatality, Kieran C, Stephen Harker, all in there. Say hello, and you're on screen at the moment. We are taking questions tonight because it is. I don't know if you've watched Late Tackle before, but Andy and I just kind of ad lib. We just talk about FBL in a very casual late night way. Very relaxed, isn't it, Andy? That's how we like it.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a little fireside chat, isn't it?
It definitely is. Lots of love in the chat, which is great to see. So thanks for your support. Thanks for tuning in after the game. First of all, Andy, let's talk about the game we've just come from. I will say from the comfort of our armchairs, as always.
Yeah.
What did you make of it? First half was bad, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't the kind of game you watch and it's getting you off your seat, if that makes sense. But I mean, Spurs were poor, I thought. They had a few little shots on goal, but a lot of them were pot shots straight at Petrovic. Obviously, he got a few saves and a few bonus by the end of the game as well. I mean, it encapsulates like what we've expected from Palmer this year as well. Like, he had that free kick from outside the box. Lovely free kick. Probably should have gone in, and Jackson just taps it in. So Jackson owners are
that's not
probably
what we've
relieved
seen, is it?
that happened.
Oh dear! I mean, I was when he headed that in, I was like, that can't have been Jackson, surely. And then it took me a few seconds to identify him, but some strike, wasn't it, from Palmer?
It was, yeah. I mean, he's just on so much confidence. This means another home game where he obviously returns as well. But yeah, I genuinely thought Spurs were really poor. I did think they were really poor. They're struggling at the moment, aren't they? And when you think Chelsea, that was their only real fit players they had out playing that first 11. They brought on a lot of youngsters. I think Cassidy was the oldest outfield player they had on the bench.
Really?
And he was obviously been on loan at Leicester most of the season. So yeah, I thought kind of a lot of people were thinking that Chelsea were going to have a bit of a go. Spurs were going to have a bit of a go, but it didn't really happen.
Connor Richardson's there saying Gilchrist dealt with Son very well. Surprised. Son was really poor, I thought.
Yeah, I didn't think Son was great. I didn't think a lot of any of them, really. I thought Johnson was quite poor as well. Didn't think a lot of him. He had a few crosses into the box, but that was it, really.
He got a lot of the ball first half. It was all down his flank, wasn't it? Him and Porro.
Yeah.
Son was just anonymous first half. And then obviously Ange got into them a bit, and they had a good 15 minutes where Son was a bit more on it. I just thought over the two games, Son was really bad. And I think Son captain has got away with one there with a penalty. So I don't think he was great in the first game.
If he didn't have those double game weeks, he wouldn't be in many teams anymore, Son. Because we'd all be on, Foden's, Bruno's, Gordon's, or whoever it is. But I keep looking at Son and thinking, I want to get Foden in. And Son's looking at me, but he's got the double game week, so I can't get rid of him.
Yeah, this is it, isn't it? The double game week covers up for these evils, doesn't it?
It does. When he's on pens as well.
IM74 saying triple Spurs hits flying. Yeah, possibly, because I'm taking 3 Spurs into game week 37. No, I've only got Porro and Son, so I do myself a disservice. But even so, it's like I benched them game week 36, as we'll see later. But I don't. Without the double, there's no way he'd be back in Spurs at the moment. There's no way what we saw tonight, right?
No, I don't think so. And I think we've obviously all loaded up on them. I've only got one. I've only got Son because I had Udogie. So he was my player that I was going to own for the doubles. And obviously he's out for the season now. But to be honest, it's meant I could play other defenders instead of Udogie because he wouldn't be getting many points for me at the moment.
No,
I mean, Porro owners obviously got they got a goal or an assist the other day, didn't they? So that was good for them. But, it's not been great owning them.
No, it's the clean sheets all season. I remember Romero's got the 5 goals this season, which is a good return for him, and he could have scored again tonight. But just generally, they're just fizzling out, really. I don't know. It's very disappointing. And obviously we had high expectations of them with the double now and the double in 37. Son got the return and maybe we'll get something in 37. We're going to carry them into that and we're going to bench boost. A lot of managers are going to bench boost, hoping that that's going to pay off. But yeah, in the end, Jackson and Palmer turned it around. I didn't think, Chelsea were in great shape tonight. Palmer was quite quiet, I thought. He didn't dominate in the same way he normally does, did he?
He had one or two shots that were really off as well. Like there was one where he was on the right-hand side of the box and you thought he was going to curl it into the top left and he hit it high and wide. And it was quite surprising because, a couple of weeks ago that was going in. So, yeah, he did just look a little bit on the periphery. But what does he do? Like I said, gets a free kick, hits the crossbar, Jackson taps it in. And it's just his season, isn't it, Palmer? He's
got those moments of brilliance in him. I think part of it was that he felt that he was obviously getting man-marked by Basuma a lot of the time, and he stayed out wide a lot to try and drag Basuma out, I think, and leave space for others. So it's quite an unselfish display, maybe, but not what we wanted. We wanted a big return for Palmer, but we'll take the assist. That'll be fine. Clean sheet point as well. I haven't looked how the bonus is shaking up. You said Petrovic sneaked in. What was it in the end? How did it turn out? He got 2, did he?
He did.
Did he get a fourth
him and
save?
Him and Cucurella got 2. Yeah, he got a 4th save, apparently.
Because there was that real pathetic shot. I can't remember. I think it was Kulusevski.
Was it Basuma?
Was it? It dribbled through to Pet, and I thought, is that a recovery or they're going to call that a shot? And I was refreshing.
There were quite a few blocked crosses he got to as well, where I was thinking, can they count that? Can they count that?
Yeah. So that sneaked him in with the 2. That was useful to see. Useful to see and getting that. Caleb Seekin saying Mark getting Haaland off the bench and Petro points to stay above me in the second chance league. Yeah, sorry Caleb, I did have Haaland points off the bench for me. Should we have a quick look at our game weeks? We'll have a look at Az's team as well. And these don't have the bonuses in yet, of course. But you got to be happy, haven't you? I mean, you got 79 before bonus. Lovely.
Yes. So looking like 81. I took a -12 this week. So I was looking at my team and thought I need to take hits, and I knew at some point I would need to take a lot of hits. I brought in Isak for Tony. I brought in Gordon for Salah, which was my last one I did when we found out Salah was out. I took out Udogie for Cher, which was unlucky. And then I did Petrovic. So I brought Petrovic in for Neto. So 3 of those were absolute bangers of transfers. Like I would have had very few points from Neto I thought was going to be benched again, and he was. Salah obviously was benched, and Tony didn't do anything. So bringing in Isak, Gordon and Petrovic for what was 34 points. I'm very, very happy with that. So 12-point hit, but
find out Salah's bench was a gift though, wasn't it? I mean,
big time, because I was going to keep him.
Yeah.
I was all set on keeping him because I thought against West Ham they'll score a few goals and Salah could come back in. I really wanted Gordon though. I really wanted him, because I love Gordon. And but -12, and I got about a 3k red arrow, which I am absolutely thrilled with. So
well, bloody hell. Look at Palmer. XG tonight was 1.8. Was it? Oh, because of that missed chance in the first half that went over the bar. They didn't really make much of that, did they? When the ball came.
He did have a few shots. That seems surprisingly high.
They didn't really criticise Palmer for spooning that over the bar. It did come to him quick from the clearance from Van der Ven off the line, wasn't it? And Palmer, that was very early on. I guess that was a high XG chance. So fair enough. Yeah, I mean, so with the -12, it's still a positive week for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone's asking why I'm not in the Godfathers League, by the way. I think that's As doesn't want to see anybody else above him. In
Oh,
the
As will only do that if you pay us the money, Andy, because you know what he's about. You know what he's like.
Once you start paying me, I'm more than happy to do it.
Oh, has he not sent the check through yet? It's outrageous.
You get checks.
Yeah, that's how we pay these days.
Yeah.
It's like,
No, with the -12, I am genuinely ecstatic because I've now got 2, 3, hopefully, and for 4 more players for the double game week where I'm bench boosting in 37. And to take a -12 in a week and almost get a grey arrow, you've got to be happy.
yeah, lovely. And you closed the gap on me. No regrets on Morris. You. I mean, I guess Garnacho's a player you would have dropped, but.
I mean, the thing I would have loved is for Haaland to have missed out, really, and then Morris to come in, because the thing that maybe hurt me against the field was that I don't have Foden, and Foden didn't play, and then everybody got Haaland in. So I played Haaland because I had to, and everybody else benched him thinking he wasn't going to play. And obviously he came on and scored. Foden didn't play, and everybody that had Haaland on the bench got him in anyway. So that would have been some nice differential points for me. But the biggest one was Saka. 33% owned he was for me this week. 33% owned. So many. When he hauled, I was sat there going, "This is nice," and everybody in my DMs was going, "I don't own him anymore."
Honestly,
and you went, "Oh, I don't like this."
Well, we'll bring up my team in a minute. Connor's just mentioned here that Gordon's banked in one home match. He's played all season. We're going to look. I have done some prep, and we're going to look at Newcastle's home form and why it will be a concern taking Gordon and Isak in over the last 3. Maybe. I mean, last 4 fixtures for them. Saka. Let's bring up my team because then we'll talk about Saka a bit more. I'm doing all right. 72 with full bonus. I think it comes in at 79 because Haaland will come off the bench for Foden. So with the bonus 79, I should be up to about 18k. So the top 10k could still be on. Don't know. It's still a bit of a stretch, I think. Petrovic 9, Shah 1, 8 Norway 2, Porro 2, Gordon the 10. I'll talk about Gordon in a minute. Palmer, the captain 16, Foden 0, Haaland comes in for 5. Odegaard, which was my little tilt, my little differential, just the 2 points on 9, Isak 13, and Mr. Jackson with 8. So basically, I had Saka and I made him captain game week before last. Arsenal with their double had. Arsenal have played 3 games and scored 10 goals, and over those 3 games, I've owned Saka, and I've owned Odegaard, and out of 10 goals, presumably 20 returns, maybe they weren't assists, I've got one assist out of 20 returns. So owning Saka and Odegaard, I got 1 return out of 20 returns. How does that happen?
Crazy.
So basically, I've danced around all the recent returns. So I had Saka when Odegaard came in, and Saka just got 1 assist. And then I moved to Odegaard, and then Saka hauled.
That's really interesting. You moved to Odegaard though now.
Just the lower ownership. And the thing is, I watched him in that home game. I can't remind me who it was against now. It was in the 5-0, wasn't it? Who they played? It was a remind myself who they played now when they won 5-0. Chelsea, of course. Yeah. So I watched him in the Chelsea game, and out of that, Odegaard got the 2 assists and the 3 bonus. I think he got the 2 bonus, but he was man of the match, wasn't he? He was just superb. And I thought going into this game week that I would hold Saka, but instead I thought to myself, no, I won't do that. I'll go for an even bigger differential because I knew that Saka would be. I knew that owners would be dropping him off for a double. I really wanted to hold an Arsenal player because of the Bournemouth game coming up in 36 as well, so I fancied having an Arsenal attacker for that. But rather than hold Saka, I just tried to be clever, which sums up some of my decision-making sometimes. I go, no, I'm going to go Odegaard, the lower-owned player, because I was so impressed with him against Chelsea, and I thought, I reckon he could do well there. And obviously, as we know, Saka was the player to haul. It could come good for me this week. Odegaard could return against Bournemouth and Saka blank, but it just made those Saka returns so bitter for me because obviously I held on to him and supported him. I captained him in the game week, just in game week 34 rather, when he got the 1 assist and they had the 2 fixtures. But to get 1 return from the last 20 for Arsenal is tough when you own those 2 players.
I'm quite surprised it was between those 2 though, because I thought Havertz would have been way more in the conversation for you because, I mean, he was great for me in the double, but obviously Odegaard outscored him in the double, but he's just continuously doing it, isn't he?
Yeah, there's long time viewer as Phillips there. He's always he's a loyal supporter of this show, isn't he?
Constantly in my DMs.
All the time. Yeah, there he is saying, I can't believe you didn't go Havertz. Thanks, Az. Yeah.
The only thing I'll say about him is, though, in your DMs, if you tell him to do something and he does it and it doesn't go well, he blames you straight away. He's terrible. He's one of them.
One of those characters. We just don't need that grief, do we?
No, exactly.
James Harding saying, as summoned at the mention of Havertz. Of course, for those for non-long-term listeners, you may remember a few seasons back after Havertz's debut at Brighton, as famously described him as a Sunday League player, and now he's darling, probably going to be on the wall. Is he on the wall?
If you say Havertz in front of the mirror 3 times quickly, as appears.
That's the theory, isn't it? No, I wish I had gone the German, because it would have been returns in both games. But no, I love Odegaard as a player. He's like Modric, isn't he? He's a bit more effective than Modric as a fancy asset, but he's one of those players that you love him to watch. You love watching him play, and you want him to be a top tier elite FPL asset. But he's not quite there, is he? He's still below Saka. There's no question. So I should have kept faith, but. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Bournemouth goes.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see. What's your team looking like? We'll look at our teams at the end. But have you one of these managers with a load of injuries? Because I've got Shaw and Nori there. Are you carrying any into 37?
I got Cher and Gusto at the moment.
Right. Gusto might turn up though. That's the talk, isn't it?
I mean, I was literally talking to somebody earlier saying that I think you've just got to keep Gusto until then and just make a last-minute decision on him, because if he comes back, you've got the player then, haven't you? Whereas I think Cher I think will play. Cher I think will be fine, because I think
he'll be fine for 37, won't he?
Yeah. I think so. I don't see how he won't be. And then I think that's it then for me. But I've still got Zabarnyi, so I've got to do something about him as well. I don't really want him in the double, and he's obviously got Arsenal this week. So most likely it will be Zabarnyi out this week, and I'm looking at a City defender potentially. Yeah,
me too. So we should talk about.
We'll chat about that then.
Yeah, let's talk about that at the end. I'm sure we might get some questions about it. Should we look at Az's game? I don't really want to.
No, go on.
Actually, no, I haven't brought in his latest points though, so I'll be doing him a disservice. Let me just go and grab his latest points. Talk amongst yourselves while I get that, because
talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
So
let me find him. Oh, hold on, I'm looking down the mods and cons league, but I can't see him. Oh, hold on,
if
I
you
need
keep
to scroll.
scrolling,
I need to keep scrolling.
Keep going.
It's a long way down.
You got it yet?
Yeah, found him.
There he is.
Quite near the bottom.
Good man.
Let me just grab Let me just grab his team. Because he did rather well, and this might cheer him up as he's not feeling well. I've got in a game week where he's done well. So they've been such a rarity this season, haven't they?
Yeah,
that we've got to give him a bit of credit. So let me just grab his points total. I can't quite believe this points total. Has he got bonus as well?
He's still in the chat. I think he's just had his Calpol, so he's feeling a bit drowsy now. So we need to hurry up.
I tell you what, I'm feeling delirious for now. I've just noticed his score. Hold on.
I know he's done well.
I know. It's I
don't think tonight went well for him, because he was Son captain, didn't have Petrovic, didn't have Jackson.
Did this work?
So I think he was doing very well.
85 points for Mr. Az. There he is. Let's go through his team for the podcast. Raya 1 point, Robertson 9, Vardiol 15, Munoz 2, Son the captain. Interesting choice. He was lucky to get the 9 out of him, really, wasn't he? Lucky to get 9. 18 for him. He had Saka as well, which makes it even worse for me. Foden 0 points. He'll get. Sarabia came on. He did come on.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So he gets booked. 0 off the bench, and then Palmer 8, Haaland 5, kept Watkins for the 2. Isaac 13. He hasn't got his bench boost, of course, in 37. Should we mention that again?
What?
Yeah, strange. I don't know when he played it.
Quite a few people saying he took a -8 this week as well.
Oh, did he? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's that? 78.
77, and I got 79, so I still beat him. That's all right then. That's fine.
Yeah,
fine. Sorry, Az.
Good week.
Yeah, good week. Yeah, and he was up to 300k, but he's probably dropped down again now. So I don't know what his goal is, but we'll find out next week when he's fit and well and back on the show. So I'm going to talk about Newcastle a bit, because we got some questions. We put an appeal out for some questions, and I know we got some. We got 1 or 2 about Anthony Gordon and Newcastle's form. Yeah, here we go. Rob Jones said here, could you please provide an analysis of Gordon and Newcastle's home and away form comparison, along with the contributing factors that influence this disparity? Right. I don't know if we can do all of that. I don't know, but we'll try. Let me bring up the stuff that I've done here. Where is it? Got to find it now. It's not in there. There it is. Oh, perfect. There we go. Right. This is interesting because I had a look at this and I expected to see a gap, but not this. So what you're seeing here is the home XG non-penalty per 90 and the away XG non-penalty per 90, and then the difference between the two. And the team with the biggest difference between home and away XG non-penalty per 90 is Newcastle. 0.93 difference. So 2.19 XG non-penalty per 90 at home, 1.25 away, 0.93 difference. Then it's Liverpool with a 0.80 difference, obviously stronger at Anfield. Arsenal 0.62, stronger at the Emirates. And then Spurs in fourth, 0.54. And you go down to the bottom and you see West Ham are actually more effective away, Wolves more effective away, Bournemouth more effective away, and Nottingham Forest more effective away by 0.01. Surprising that with Forest being so strong at home last season. But yeah, there it is in black and white for the Magpies. Newcastle, huge disparity between their attack in terms of XG non-penalty per 90. What do you make?
And I suppose the reason we have to bring this up is because they've only got one home game left this season. So they've got 4 fixtures in 3 game weeks, but they've only got one home fixture, which is against Brighton. Yeah. So they've got Brighton at home in the double. But the only thing you would say is the 3 teams they do have to play away from home, Burnley, Man United and Brentford, they're not awful fixtures, are they? I mean, Burnley have gone on a little bit of a resurgence recently, but Man United and Brentford, Man United in particular, like they are there for the taking for a lot of teams in terms of defensively, aren't they? So I think that I'm going to hold Gordon and Isak to the end of the season.
Yeah.
But there's an awful lot of people getting rid of Gordon to try and get a KDB in or try and get a Bruno in and things like that. And I don't know whether I believe this, they only can return for you at home enough to get rid of a double game week player for another double game week player.
I got them in with the wild card. Rob says, sorry, that was a bit long-winded. No, it's perfect, Rob. Don't worry about it. It's all good. And then also we got a comment here. Also have to remember that Newcastle scored 8 on the road at Sheffield United. Yeah. So that is a good point. Yeah. So their away XG non-penalty is actually boosted by that Sheffield United game as well. I'm with you. I think that, when I wildcarded and brought Isak and Gordon in, as well as Shah, I felt that I would likely hold them to the end of the season. The other thing about Newcastle, you're right, the fixtures aren't particularly bad. They've got that incentive as well. They're still playing for European football, aren't they? And Chelsea's win tonight means that they've got to keep their foot down. They can't relax on that. So they've got to go to Burnley and get a result because they've got to keep Chelsea off their backs. So I'm pretty hopeful, that, like you say, the Burnley, Man United, Brentford away games, although we're seeing that huge disparity between their attack home and away, I'd still be hopeful that Gordon and Isak will get me something in there. I don't understand it, though. Do you... I mean, you look at the likes of Isak and Gordon and think they should be really effective players away from home. Yeah. It's just, I guess, Rob asked us to give reasons behind it. It's got to be purely tactical from Eddie Howe, isn't it? It can't be anything else because it's not that the players are getting worse away from home.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's not going to be significant in that table, but you look at the fixtures they've got left. They've obviously played all the toughest fixtures away from home already, so they've now got 3 away fixtures left, but they've already played like Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, whatever it is, so that's obviously going to make a little bit, but that won't make up the a lot compared to the rest of it. But I look at it and think, away from home against Burnley, Man United and Brentford, surely they're going to score some goals. And as long as they score some goals, Gordon seems to be the one. He does so well at home, but just doesn't seem to return away. Whereas Isak's the one I'm just thinking, I just trust him because he's on penalties as well. Even if he's playing away from home, I've got no interest in selling him. But there's going to be a lot of people benching Gordon this week against Burnley.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
in favour of what? What have they got that?
Well, there's what are those? I'm trying to think what the fixtures are now.
Well,
There's loads of. Could you bring them back up again?
Yeah, bring them up.
Because
Bring
there's
'em up,
loads
yeah.
of
We've got
people that've got
an
a
early
really
preview of our
nice.
predictions there.
Because there's a lot of people that are obviously building for the bench boost. So they have, say, Jackson, Isak, and Haaland up top, and they've got 5 quite nice midfielders, and they're wanting to bench one, and it's Gordon that they're looking at benching. And if you look at a lot of the polls that have gone up and a lot of the dilemmas that people are putting up, most people are saying, yeah, just bench Gordon because it's away from home, and they're assuming that he's just going to continue what he's been doing.
But haven't most people got Son, and wouldn't they most likely bench Son at Liverpool?
I think before tonight, most people were thinking that Liverpool might be a bit open for him, and maybe Son could do something against him.
Would you play Son over Gordon?
No, I'm playing both, but yeah, I mean, if I own Son, and obviously I still need him for the double, so I'm not selling him. I think I would, or between the two of them. I mean, people are looking at that away record, aren't they? It'd be tough between the two of them. I think it would, but I think I'd probably edge Gordon, but it is close between them, I think.
Yeah, no, and the thing is, it's like, yeah, okay, the data certainly suggests that Gordon's chances of returns are minimal, given, much of his returns have come away from. I think he's got 13 blanks away from home. But I just think Burnley give up chances. Burnley have got to go for the win. Newcastle need to keep Chelsea off the back. I think it'd be an open game as a result of that. So I think I've got to back Gordon there and bench Son. That's my approach. Anyway, that's what I'm going with. We've actually got a super chat there, Andy. So that'll be money that you're getting about 3.5 years if he gets the check through to you.
Is it £100? £100 super chat?
No, I don't know what that translates to, but it's still very generous of you, Shivam Bandriali. Yes. Thank you very much for the super chat. We will address your question immediately as we're talking about Gordon, and the question is: I have Sarabia on the bench. Worth bringing in Havertz, Saka for him, and bench Gordon for a free transfer, or just roll and play Gordon? I would roll and play Gordon. But Havertz, Saka at home to Bournemouth.
Depends, because obviously you're making yourself weaker for 37 then as well, aren't you? Because Havertz and Saka have Man United away. Gordon's got 3 fixtures compared to their 2, and one of those fixtures isn't overly nice. Yeah. So I think I would probably roll. And also, you then get another transfer to use in 37.
Well, this is it. And a lot can change, couldn't it? And then if you're bench boosting in 37 and you need to maximise that, just another injury could really hurt you. So having the 2 free transfers is going to be very useful indeed as well. Because we've seen a lot of injuries end of the season. So I think you're right. I think I'd roll. I think I'd hold Gordon. I'm backing him. I'm starting him. So I think we have to go with that. But thanks very much for the question, Shivam. That was very generous of you. We will answer some more questions as we go. We've got some still on Twitter to answer. So let's move away from our predictions because we'll come back to them in a minute. Let's go back to the starting screen. I am rusty. I haven't done hosting for about 3 months because my last time we did a late take, my internet connection was a bit dodgy and I was worried about that. Bizarrely, I've solved it by going wireless. It's my LAN connection that's a bit dodgy. My wireless is fine. There you go. Yeah. That shouldn't be right.
Well, you wouldn't know you were rusty, mate. Like riding a bike, this isn't it? Getting back into FPL mode. Riding a bike, mate.
You had to go there, didn't you?
I did. It's been a while.
Okay, Clapper and Gill saying Gusto not in the squad tonight, or Gusto. Are you a Gusto or a Gusto man? Where do you go? Gusto. Okay. Yeah. Hold Gusto and I hope he's back for 37, or does Reece James on the horizon mean he's worth a -4 either way? Reece James isn't a factor, surely. We're not thinking that, are we?
I don't think Reece James will be a factor until maybe 38, and then I don't see why they risk him. But I am definitely going to be holding Gusto until the last minute, until 37.
That's why.
Because the worst thing ever is to get rid of him and then all of a sudden he's fit for 37. I'm not sure he will be, but I might as well keep him up until it.
And Connor's saying here, not sure whether to sell Zabrani or Gusto. You sell Zabrani.
To sell who?
Zabrini. I can't utter the man's name because I went bloody Kirkes, and so I can't say it because my system shuts down out of the memory of that goal that he got. What is the pronunciation, Andy? I'm out of practice.
Zabani.
Zabani. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Does it actually spell Zabani? Yes, it does sound like it.
I think you ditch Zabani, don't you?
Yeah,
personally,
I think so too.
Yeah.
Should we go
they have
back?
a nice fixture in 37, but you're not expecting a lot for Zimbabwe, are you? Like, if they've got Brentford at home, Brentford will probably score, and you're not expecting a lot, are you?
No, you're absolutely not. No. We'll go back to social media for another question. My friend Matt Davis, my fellow Forest podcaster who hosts the fantastic Forest Focus, which I'm on now and again, bit of a plug there. Would an Arsenal defender be the top priority to replace injured players this week, or do you prefer City with the extra fixture? Now, that is exactly where we're at, isn't it?
Could you repeat it for me, please? Because I was just putting up on the chat. FPL SWAT said Zabrini girls just want to have fun, and it made me laugh. So I was distracted. So could you say the question again, please?
I think that's actually a band from Brighton. Actually, the Zabrini. I think it is. Would an Arsenal defender be top priority to replace injured players this week, or do you prefer City with the extra fixture? So replacement defenders, basically, because we got a few injuries back there, haven't we? Gusto and Shah, maybe people maybe getting rid. Where'd you go, Arsenal or City? Arsenal have obviously got Bournemouth at home, but City have got the two fixtures. Let's bring up the ticker just to help us with this. City got Wolves at home and then the Fulham Spurs away before West Ham on the final day. Arsenal, I mean, you look at Arsenal's 3 games, you think there's clean sheets in at least 2 of them, don't you?
Yeah, I agree, yeah. Bournemouth and Everton, you expect clean sheets in those 2, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't think there'll be a clean sheet at Old Trafford. I think we'll score. I think they'll beat us, but I think we'll score. But then City, you've got Wolves at home, West Ham at home, which are quite nice. Fulham away could be anything, but the thing is with City, like we've seen it so often, they get into this part of the season and all of a sudden they just become a machine, don't they? And they just pick up 2-0 wins until the end of the season. And I think with that extra fixture as well, the only thing you'd say with City is they don't really have that massive upside defender. Like Gvardiol's been doing it recently, obviously, but he's not. I don't think it's something.
You say
that's
Gvardiol, do you? See, is it Vardiol without the? Is it a silent G?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Is it a silent Z in Zabani?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just thought I'd pick you up on that to try and cover up my my incredible pronunciation of. Vardiol,
and you just don't have that massive upside. No. I was talking to somebody the other day saying, like, if it was Cancelo, then that's different because you're expecting maybe to get a goal and assist or something like that in the next couple of weeks. But whereas with Arsenal, you do have Gabriel, who obviously got the goal threat. You've got White, who's been incredible this season. So I still think I would favour a City defender myself over getting that second Arsenal defender. But I could be very wrong there by the end of the season.
Just a shout out to Nigel who's gifting FPL BlackBox memberships. That as character might get one if he's lucky. I don't know who he got.
Oh, bless him. Yeah. That would cheer him up, actually.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? Let's bring up the team data defence because that really does underline where Arsenal have been all season. But City have closed the gap on them. This is over the season. XG conceded non-penalty per 90. Arsenal at the top 0.70 with 1.09 big chances conceded per 90, which is by far the lowest in the league. The nearest then is City on 1.62. City have the second strongest defence in terms of XG conceded non-penalty per 90, 0.91. And actually, chances per 90, City are conceding fewer, 8.24, Arsenal 8.63. The thing we've seen with City, though, is just I don't know, carelessness and conceding the odd goal in matches where they should see it out. Whereas Arsenal, I think, are more disciplined. When they have conceded goals, it's been an error from Raya more often than not, or one of the defenders maybe. So they've conceded goals through defensive errors, but not really allowing the opposition chances has been the story of the season. I kept 2 Arsenal defenders on the wild card with a view that I wanted to take 2 into Bournemouth as well as an attacker. I haven't yet decided whether I'm going to hold 2 for 37, given that, obviously they don't have a double game week. But I've got Ait-Nouri injured and don't like his fixture this week. So I will be moving to a defender. And like you, I think I'd just favour the City defender. I think if I didn't, if I could get I don't have the slot to get another Arsenal defender in anyway, but I think out the 2, I think I have to back the double.
I think it's just more fun as well, like having that double game week there. And you're going to be looking at that double game week with Arsenal going to Old Trafford and just thinking, oh, I could have had a double game week player. The only thing is that which Man City defender do you get that guarantees you getting
Yeah.
another fixture? Because Arsenal, they're going to be playing those defenders now until the end of the
Yeah.
season. Whereas City, we've already seen rotations. Stones is back. Diaz got rested, so Diaz is going to come back in. Who's going to be the defender that gets you, those minutes until the end of the season?
I guess the thing in our favour, we've got defender data up here last 6 game weeks. And in terms of City defenders, I mean, Ake's third here, but he encapsulates what you're saying there. I don't think you can look at Ake. He's 0.38 XGI non-penalty per 90. Vardiol is in 9th or 10th here, or 0.27. Then you've got to go down. Where's Walker somewhere? I mean, Diaz is down in 57th. Walker's down in 76th. So there's no goal threat from those players. Diaz has been benched the last 2 as well, which kind of cast doubt on what Pep's back 4 will be. Okay, I'll ask you outright. Vardiol and Walker probably are my picks of the defenders to go to. Do you think we get 4 games out of them?
I think we do out of Walker. I think Walker will get all 4. Club captain, has to play right back. He fits into every system they play as well. Gavardiol, I think, gets the majority. I think he's going to miss one.
Do you?
And I do.
I think Lewis will get one then? Is that what you're thinking?
Lewis or, Stones, Diaz, like they're all there vying for it. I just think he's going to miss one. And I think it'll probably be in the double game week, which is what's going to be more annoying. But if you look at 36 and 38, I think he's great for those. It's just whether you're happy. I'm just looking at Walker and thinking, because Walker's the one that's kind of edging it for me at the moment. And it's just because I want to go into 37 knowing that I'm going to get those 2 games out of him.
That's it.
And if I can get 2 games in 37 out of Walker, I mean, they might not get the clean sheets, which obviously could happen. But if I know I'm going to be getting the minutes out of him, then I'm going to be very happy. I've kind of realised more this season. I'm really an X minutes man. Like, as soon as I can guarantee that someone's getting minutes, I'm all over it. Like I did it in the on the free hit. I was just all about the minutes and guaranteed minutes. But yeah, I do think that's the way I'm probably going to go. And also, it just feels a little bit different. Everybody seems to be jumping on Gavardiol, and I don't think this form's going to continue. He's not going to be scoring every week, is he? So I think Walker is probably the way I'm going to go.
Yeah, I'm with you again here, Andy. I don't often agree with you so often.
What's happening?
But yeah, I mean, like Connor Richardson's asked this: Walker, Stones, or Vardiol, where do you go? And I think Vardiol has the upside. I think that it's possible that he could play all 4 games, but like you, I think that Lewis might get, or Diaz could come back in and Ake could play left back. I think that Walker's the most likely to get the 4, and I think that's what you're going for, isn't it? I think that's what you're going for. And Walker could contribute. We've seen him getting forward a lot at Brighton. He really should have got more out of that game. I think he got the assist, didn't he, for the Alvarez goal? But he was getting forward a lot there. So in any one game, he could be as much as a attacking threat as Vardiol. Obviously, this data certainly suggests that's not the case, but I think he is capable of getting forward. I'm kicking myself on not only selling Saka but not going Vardiol. The reason being that I kept faith with Ait Nouri because he had that good fixture, and I thought I don't want to sell Ait Nouri with Luton Town at home, because I had him anyway. So before the wild card was played, I didn't get him in on the wild card. I had him. And when you have a player and you're playing the wild card and you think that's a good fixture, do I want to lose him and regret it? And the other factor was City were at Forest, and I think my Forest affection, well, more than affection, isn't it, didn't allow me to get back a City defender. I didn't want to watch that Forest City game thinking I don't want Forest to score.
Yeah.
But I should have thought the flip side of, well, I win either way. If Forest score, then Forest score. And I regret that. And of course, Vardiol capitalised on the set piece frailty that we've got, which is just absolutely awful. And he got the goal, of course, and the 15 points haul for Az. So well done, Az, and not well done me.
I'm the dude in the chat says, Mark, when was the last time Walker got an attack and return? I think it was 2 weeks ago.
It was at Brighton, yeah.
So it's in him.
Yeah. He gets forward a lot in some matches. It really depends on the tactics that Pep goes with.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and it depends on the opposition in terms of whether they play a bit of a low block or not. And
that's right.
He's much less effective with a low block, but he's better when the team attacks him a little bit. And if you look at their fixtures, what are their fixtures again coming up? Because they've got Spurs, haven't they? Who will go forward, so that's good for him potentially. And yeah, I think Walker could be a good shout.
I think it's just the X-Bins again, and like you said, you're an X-Bins man these days, and I think Walker is the answer there. Yeah,
I put it up on the screen. Someone said about I'll put that on my Tinder profile that I'm an X minutes man. That was quite good.
Swipe left or swipe right for that?
Yeah. Oh, I don't even know which one's which. I've never been on Tinder.
No, nor do I. No, I really don't.
Oh, of course, mate. Yeah, you said that so quick then.
No, I really don't know what I'm talking about, but I hear that the kids are into that these days, so to speak.
Yes, apparently.
I like slipping into FPL mode myself, but there you go. Rather than DM.
Who needs Tinder?
That's right. Someone asked in. Baba Yaga also said, "Do you think Forest will get relegated? And which players do you think will leave?" That's too depressing. I don't want to consider that. But it's all about Sheffield United and obviously the Premier League giving us points back, which I don't know. If
at least all the fans will still show up next year because you haven't had like a price hike in your tickets or anything, so you'll be fine, won't you?
Just don't. Right? It's bad times for Forest fans at the moment. That's
oh dear.
Mark Dorney also saying, "Do you think Forest will survive?" I don't know. I really don't. And it's been a strange season for me because in a way, Forest struggles have really consumed me. And I'll ask you this in a minute, Andy. But I found the FBL season towards the end. I find most of the decisions I've been making the last 10 weeks have been pretty straightforward because of the double game weeks and the way the chips fell. So I've kind of not had to put too much effort and thinking into my FBL team, and Forest have kind of taken up that capacity in my head for thinking about football. It's just been a lot about Forest, less about FBL in terms of my headspace. Yeah. Have you found that similar this season? Have you found that, because I just found the last 10 weeks, maybe the last 3 months of the season have been not autopilot, but I just think my decision making hasn't been that difficult because of the way once you decided to ship strategy and you went with, free hit 29, wildcard 34, and so on. Since 29, it's almost been mapped out for you, or even before 29, because we were looking at it. Is that how you felt?
A little bit. We spoke about this a little bit on Scoutcast a couple of weeks ago, saying that what will it be like with less blank game weeks and double game weeks next year because of the FA Cup replays going?
Yeah.
And we said, actually, in some ways, it opens up the pool an awful lot more because you get so tunnel visioned with double game weeks and blank game weeks that, like you said, your moves kind of get planned for you.
They do.
You don't have an awful lot of moves to make. Whereas if there's less double game weeks and less blank game weeks, you can still pick from even, those players that have got single game weeks and have got nice fixtures. So I haven't owned a Forest player. Oh, yes, I have. I've owned a Langer. That went well.
Yeah. But I was gonna jump right on top of that when you said that.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
But no, I do think when you get to this part of the season, other players, like you look at someone like Ollie Watkins, who's in hardly any teams again now, and you just think it's mad, isn't it? Because you got in no way you thinking I'm going to get Ollie Watkins in.
You wouldn't want to do that.
But you look at his fixtures and they're not too bad, and you think, well, that's a shame, isn't it? But you're never going to get him because he's got less fixtures. So yeah, I get it. It's just one of those things that you have to play the double game weeks because, in reality, they usually come good, don't they?
Yeah, and as I said to Az, it's like if you don't play for the double game week players, it's like going to a party and not wearing the fancy dress, being the one wearing. You've got to go all in, haven't you? You've got to, because that's the fun, right? And yeah, I think the way the fixtures fall with the FA Cup replays and so on next season, maybe the chips would be more interesting because they're not just immediately penciled in for these double game week and blank scenarios because we won't have as many. So maybe it'll make it more interesting. I do hope there is something new, a breadcrumb of newness and fresh approach to the game next season, because I think that you can't always rely on the pricing to find that extra layer of strategy and for for players to emerge to give you that level of strategy, because often it goes the other way, and I talked about it a few weeks ago. The pricing and the players that emerged this season, Palmer kind of, again, was one of those players that made it too straightforward. You get Palmer in at the price he was, and he's obviously turned out to be an incredible FBL asset. He won't be there at that price next season, but someone else could come along and fulfill that role. So I think the game just needs something extra, and they keep surveying, don't they? They keep surveying the FBL player without doing anything with it. So I kind of hope that it's coming. I don't know. I mean, they don't answer the phone anymore, so I don't have inside info. But I do feel that
don't answer the phone anymore.
they just don't.
Oh, it's Mark again.
I know they. I need to like hide my ID. Then perhaps I might pick it up. But I just think we need something fresh. Just a little bit of a change, because I think obviously with FBL Review coming in, Rate My Team, there's a lot of those algorithms out there steering our thinking, and then the way the double game week and the chips fall, that steers our thinking, and it just makes it a little bit stale, a little bit by the numbers, and I really just want something that just stirs it up a little bit more. What do you want? What's your thinking?
We had FPL Challenge. What are you talking about? They brought that in. Everybody loved it. Died a slow death.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, what can you do? I mean, I do wish that they would take a risk with the main game rather than bring new stuff in outside of it. Because obviously they had Ultimate before, then they had Draft, then they had Challenge. And it's basically their attempts to go, we need to make more of fantasy, but we're not touching the main game. And the reason why they don't want to touch the main game is because they're nervous of making a change and driving players away. And I absolutely get it. I mean, I'm in video games, so I know that you have to cater for the player that you've got and retain that hardcore player and keep them buying and playing your game. But at some point, you've got to take a risk and go, we need to bring new players in, or we've got to give the seasoned players something different because they're moving away. They're finding other things to do. This season was the first season FBL numbers plateaued or even decreased. That's got to be, I hope, a trigger for them to go, you know what, I think we ought to, that change that we thought about 2 or 3 seasons back, let's bring it out the cupboard. Let's have a look at it. I hope so. I hope so.
The thing that I've wanted for a while, and I think would be really nice, is a little bit like Gaffer does, and Gaffer does this really well, but they do it to an extreme, is to have 2 chips at the beginning of the season, 2 chips in the second half of the season. Yeah. I'd love that, because it's almost like a fresh start for people that start in the second half. They're like, oh, I've got 2 new chips and I can use them. And it also means that you can use chips in a single game week when you wouldn't normally. Like, you don't have to just bank these chips until the end of the season. You can use 2 in the first half of the season. It might be quite fun. And to randomly change what those chips are every year. So, you know, you get the bench boost in the first half of the season this year, but next year you get the bench boost in the second half of the season, or, you know, whatever it is. And I just think that would be quite different. Like, and I don't think that's a lot that casuals would switch off. That's the biggest thing. It needs to be simple but effective, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think with the double game week change coming because of the FA Cup, that's going to make the existing chips more interesting anyway. So if you're throwing in more of that, that's not a new concept for the player to learn, but it does give us something else to think about. I mean, some people don't like the chips because there's a bit of, maybe it reinforces the luck element, and I get that. But I just think we need something new, something a bit fresh, so we don't end up in this malaise again, because I think it has been that. For me, that since game week 28, 29, when the chip strategy was decided, it's just kind of like, oh, autopilot, off we go. This is my transfers and this is what I'm doing. And I don't know. I want more from the game now. I've played it a long time. I've done content a long time, and obviously I was a part of what the Premier League did. And if I was there now, I'd be pleading them to make a change for it. Just try something, risk it, take a risk with it, because I do think most of the fan base, most of the player base are locked in. I don't think people would drift away. And if the change is subtle enough, if the change is an existing concept with a little twist, I think it's okay. But I think it's time now. So
subtlety is the key.
It is. And we know all about subtlety, don't we?
We do.
Dive Swanee has asked a question, a super chat there. Let me bring that up on screen. Let me find him. Did I miss it? There it is. Who do I sell this week? I'm not going to go there again. 8 Nori Augusto. Zabani, 8 Nori Augusto. For me, it's 8 Nori or Zabani. I would keep Gusto.
Yeah.
8 Nori's got a decent fixture, hasn't he? In 37. I think I'm right in saying.
Crystal Palace at home.
Yeah. Whereas
Zabani's got. I think I'd sell Zabani personally.
I think
8 Nori could be playing left wing.
Yeah.
I think Zabani's the sell.
What a player he is. I mean, I really hope that he's a defender next season. I'm sure he will be in the game. And I really hope that he plays wing back role or even further forward next season for O'Neill, because I think that I've really loved watching him. He hasn't always. I've had him a couple of times. He's not got me anything, but he's a player that I'd love to have as a fifth defender and just bring in now and again, just so you can watch him play with FPL points at stake, because he's. I think that Wolves team with Cunha and Wang and Neto and Aït-Nouri, next season could be really an attractive side to watch when they're all fit. They haven't been fit for a lot of the season, but they could be a source of real value next season, I think, because I don't think price-wise they'll go up a lot. Neto never does because of consistent injuries season after season.
Yeah.
But if he has a season where he can stay fit and those players all on the pitch at the same time, and O'Neill continues to improve as a manager, which I'm sure he will, they're going to be a source of value next season for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
No, I do agree. I think they're going to be one of those valuable teams where, like you said, the prices aren't going to go up, and they've just got players that seem to attack well. It depends who they sell, if they have to sell anybody, and who they bring in. But no, I do agree. They've been great fun this season.
James Harding agreeing and saying, it's got a bit stale, and even if changing scoring to allow DM defensive midfielders defenders points. But I like that. I've always wanted them to bring in that extra position so that the likes of Declan Rice and Rodri are a factor in our teams. So you have to pick a midfielder, and then you've got an attacking midfielder position that you can draw from. I don't think they'd ever make a change like that, though. I think it's too radical.
Yeah, I mean, that would change the game entirely. Like the entire game would change then, because you have so many players that then come into effect. I don't hate it. I think you'd have to have it maybe as a separate one. I just don't. I would be absolutely shocked if they do it, because it's just too. I feel like it would be too much of a change, and the people they want to just pick up and play it, they wouldn't. I don't think.
Yeah, it's a shame,
because they'd look at it and go, "Oh, there's so many new rules," and
I'd
And
love to
also,
find a place for
wanna
those defensive midfielders, though, Andy, wouldn't you? It'd be nice to have Rice and Rodri and players like that a factor.
Do players watch games and go, "Yes, my defensive midfielder made another pass"? Like, I don't know, not casual people. Casual people just literally want to pick a team and go, "Yes, my player scored." They don't want to know about EO. They don't want to know about.
I know, but then the argument
passes.
is that casual players will think that Rice and Rodri are players they should have because they're great players in good teams, and yet when they pick them, they then find out that actually this game doesn't even appreciate their value.
No,
do you not think so?
I don't know.
I think so.
No, because most of those players won't play after game week 2.
Yeah, there is that, but yeah. I mean, Rice and Rodri both out. They're consistent, and if it wasn't for the fact that you only have 3 Arsenal, you only have 3 City, so you're not going to go to Rice and Rodri. Actually, in their price bracket, they are good, very good players to own.
Yeah.
But it's the free limitation on free players that means you're never going to go there, are you? So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There were 982 people or 994 watching. So thank you for your support on this Thursday night. It's late tackle. We'll do another 10 minutes, I think, and then we'll leave you for the evening because Andy literally has school in the morning. Oh yeah, I had parents' evening tonight. Strange experience. My first one at the secondary school. They always like this. Like basically, they were in 2 school gym halls, all sat around like in a circle, and you went from teacher to teacher. It was like speed dating, basically. Is that what it is at your place? Yeah,
well, not at my place because I'm primary. So you literally like with me, it's like a carousel. It's just boom, 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 getting them in 10 minutes, go, 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 and you've got 2 nights to get through 33 people. But yeah, on a secondary school, you just what do you have like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes with a teacher?
Yeah, although
subject.
Obviously some parents do exploit that and have about 15 minutes while you're standing there waiting. Not that I'm bitter or anything, but that did happen a few times. But it is like speed dating with teachers, which that might catch on.
Are you okay, Mark? You've Tinder. Speed dating. As soon as Az isn't here, you're dropping all the hints.
I know. Absolutely.
Poor lad. No wonder he's ill.
I know. Should we look at our teams? Your team up
quickly go on.
Change the subject before we get on to Grinder. Petrovic, Gabriel, Reguilon, Shah, Gordon, Son, Saka, Garnacho, Palmer, Isak, Haaland, captain. Yeah. Captaincy, you thinking about that?
Nope. No, not
Straight
really.
to Haaland.
Yeah, he looked better than he's looked for quite a while when he came on for his cameo. Scored a goal as well. I think so. Before I get onto that, so this is with 7.7 million in the bank, and I've got 1 free transfer because obviously I did Salah to Gordon as well as one of my transfers. So I am pretty sure I'm going to do Zabani to Walker or Gavardio, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be Walker. I was tempted to try and get Foden in this week. Foden's the one, obviously, I'm missing, but I can't get rid of any of those for Foden. I can't get rid of Gordon this week, and I want Gordon till the end. Can't get rid of Saka this week, but I think next week I will be in the double game week.
Yeah.
Son I can't get rid of because he's got the double game week, and I don't fancy doing the hokey cokey with him. Garnacho I don't want to get rid of, but he is the one that's kind of tempting a little bit. But I don't want to get rid of another double game week player before the bench boost. And Palmer I can't get rid of. So I'm probably going to be doing Zabani to Walker. Benching Share, I'm guessing, because Reguilon at home to Fulham, Gabriel at home to Bournemouth. I think those two are absolutely fine. So I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to do. Keep hold of Gusto for another week and hope that he plays in the double game week, at least get some minutes in the double game week. And then it's what I do with Morris. So this is all for next week, by the way. So Zabani to Walker. And then I'm not looking too bad for the double game week. I'm happy to keep Gabriel in the double game week. Saka will become Foden. And then it's Morris to Jackson or Pedro or someone like that.
You'll have loads of money. You can go anywhere with that, couldn't you?
Oh, yeah, I can go wherever I want. Yeah. So it's, that's where I'm kind of looking at the moment. But I would be getting Foden if it weren't for the fact I don't think I can sell any of those. And I cannot sell Saka this week. So Saka to Foden next week. And then maybe bringing Saka in for 38 again.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But I think apart from that, I think I'm quite well set.
Yeah, Michael Scott saying Adebayo is back for Luton. He is, but I don't think he'll start. I think that Morris will start tomorrow night. I'd think about playing Morris over Garnacho, if I was you, because I think Luton will probably score.
If you're saying that, then I should probably be doing Garnacho to Foden, really. Because, I say that, but Garnacho I need for double game week, don't I? So, yeah, well, I don't know. I think they're close. I think it's close. I'm not expecting a lot of goals from Morris, although having a player for tomorrow night might be quite nice.
I think Luton score. I think in my predictions, which we'll look at in a minute, I think I've said they're going to lose 2-0. So, but I mean, there's definitely a goal in them. I mean, I guess it's Everton's defence, which is very strong. I think it's the fourth best this season. So they could easily go there and shut them out. But Adebayo back could help them. So over 1,000 now watching. Crazy.
Nice.
Thank you for your listening at 11:15 as it is in the UK. So thank you for staying up and watching us on a Thursday evening. Hopefully we can see you off to bed with some FBL banter before in the next 5 minutes or so. We're going to look at my team next. That's banter in itself. Let's bring it up.
Make sure you join us for late tackle ASMR after this as well.
Yeah, well, I'll be lower tones.
Scratching pens and lower the tone or lower tones?
No, lower tones. I can't lower tone. Petrovic in goal. Shah, Gabriel, White. So you kept the double Arsenal with Bournemouth in mind. Gordon, Palmer, Odegaard, Foden, Jackson, Isak and Haaland. I've got it on Haaland at the moment. I am tempted to move it to Foden for the tilt. It's risky, isn't it? But there's no question he's been very effective in home games of late.
I read, Alex Forlex, he does all the Man City threads.
Yeah.
I was DMing him the other day, and he was saying that this team is just built around Foden and KDB getting the hauls, as opposed to Haaland. And you've seen it. Haaland hasn't hauled for so long, and it's. I know he got did he get 2 goals? Got 10 points for a goal and assist. Not that 3-4 weeks ago. But it's just built around Foden and KDB. So you could captain Foden this week and KDB's the one that gets the haul.
Yeah.
Or it could be Foden. And I'm just... I don't hate it at all. I don't hate the Foden shout.
I like the idea because I look at my rank now. I think I'm 18k. And I think that obviously I've got bench boost, but I don't think the bench boost will be enough. I have got some differentials in. I've got Odegaard. I've got Gordon. I've got the 2 Arsenal defenders. I don't think many that have wild-carded and bench boosting will have the 2 Arsenal defenders. I certainly don't think many will have Odegaard. So they could come in for me and make that little bit of a difference. So I guess the argument is I don't need to tilt on the captaincy. I could put it on Haaland and let the other differentials do their thing. But I am very, very tempted. I'm very tempted.
I don't hate it at all, genuinely.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the captain data. Once I bring that up, let's have a look. So Haaland there, obviously over the season, 0.91 XG non-penalty per 90, and then you got to go down to Foden 0.56. And you look over the last 6 game weeks, though, Foden 0.66, Haaland 0.86. So he's closed the gap on him. But Foden's form over that last 6 games, it's 5 goals, obviously. Haaland's had the injury. The thing about Haaland is, how fit is he? Is he fully back to full power, going to play the 90 and going to be roaring? But again, I guess, Foden's had the illness and we don't know how significant that was. So I guess
we're not getting a leak.
Yeah. No,
which is always tough with City.
Yeah. I think Foden starts. I don't think there's any doubt on his start, is there?
I mean, he's obviously been injured. He's obviously been ill. I don't think we've seen an update on whether he's not ill anymore, but I'm expecting him to start. I've got no things in my head that he won't start. But then again, if he's been ill, if he doesn't start, he won't play, I guess. So, he won't play at all. He'll just miss out. But I'm expecting him to start. It's just always tougher. I think we get used to having City leaks, and obviously we're not. Why is Luton Everton on a Friday night, by the way? Why is that game on a Friday night? I was not expecting that when I was looking at the deadline. I didn't even know it was Friday night. I thought it was Saturday.
I don't think it does. I mean, I'm a Forest fan, but I don't think it does Luton any favours, because basically Forest then go to Sheffield United knowing exactly what they need to do.
Yeah.
Where, if Luton draw with Everton, Forest could go to Sheffield United and play less risk. They could come away and go, you know what, we'll just take a point here. That'll be enough, because with goal difference as well. Whereas, I think if Luton win against Everton, Forest then go all out for the win at Sheffield United. So it really helps me as a Forest fan that Luton are playing tomorrow night. And I don't know. I guess it's TV, isn't it? But yeah, it's a bit odd, isn't it? It'll be a good game.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a good game, that's for sure. No doubt about that. We've got another super chat from Tarek. Bench 1 of Gordon, Son or Jackson. Also smash the like button. Yeah, do that. Thank you very much, Tarek, who is obviously a member there. Gordon, Son or Jackson. For me, it's...
this is what I mean.
For me,
tough,
it's Son.
isn't it?
I mean, it's there on the screen. I'm benching Son.
It's not Jackson. It's 100% not Jackson. You play Jackson West Ham at home.
Yeah, it's Son for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I would be debating that till the end.
He's not playing well, though. It's pure eye test, really. I know, but...
Burnley are not too bad at the moment.
No, and they've actually been pretty strong defensively. I mean, let's bring up
lost 1 in 8, is it?
Let's bring up the team defence last 6. I think this will show. Well, actually, no, Burnley down there, but they've only conceded 8 goals. I think it's 8 goals in the last 6 game weeks. And if we look at the goalkeepers over the last 6, I think Muric is at the top or near the top. Yeah, he's 5th.
Travers.
Yeah. So he's Muric has conceded 7 goals in the last 6 game weeks. Which shows you that although they haven't kept a clean sheet, they're not conceding a lot of goals. Average of just over a goal a game in that run. So although I said earlier Burnley will give up chances, I'm not expecting Newcastle to go there and hit 3 or 4. But I still think that Newcastle are worth backing. So for me, it's just something about Son at the moment. He just doesn't look anywhere near the level that he needs to be. Plus, Richarlison will probably start up down the middle, won't he? And as we saw, Son on the wing isn't as productive in FPL terms previously. So I think that's enough for me to back Gordon. I do think there's a couple of goals in it for Newcastle, and I think that means for me that you start Gordon over Son.
Yeah, that's fair. It's penalties as well, though, isn't it? Benching penalties is always tough.
Yeah,
it can always bite you.
Yeah, and ABC makes that point here in the chat. Penalty takers over any midfielders, attackers. Yeah, and I get it. But I think Liverpool still will want to win that game, obviously, and I still think that's a tough place to go. And Spurs tonight just looked short of ideas for me. If I'd have seen more from Spurs tonight, it would have been a lot closer. But I'm going to go Gordon because for me he's a differential as well. And I think at this stage in the season, if you're trying to push into the top 10k, I've got to go against the grain slightly. I don't think it's a major risk to go Gordon over Son, and it could be just enough to give me that extra 1k up if it comes in. So that's what I'm going to do.
Should we finish off on the last super chat from Mo?
Well, I'm going to bring Az team up first before we do that. But
no.
Because he's got Saka there, and he's saying, Mo, thanks for the £2 Mo on the super chat. Thoughts on Saka for captain, and obviously Az has got that option here. He's currently got Haaland as well. If I was Az, I'd go Saka all day. Wouldn't you?
No, I think I'd be more tempted with Foden.
Yeah,
personally.
okay.
I think we said before, yeah. I think I would. I think out of the two of them, I mean, Foden, we've seen it already this season. Like, he can score you a hat trick. And I don't think Saka's got that in him towards the end of the season now. Like, obviously, against Spurs, it was that counter-attacking goal. Got the assist for the corner, didn't he? Which was the own goal. Foden genuinely, I think it would be Foden over me. Foden's more of a captaincy shout than Saka this week.
As his team for the podcast is Raya, Gabriel, Vardiol, Munoz, Son, Saka, Foden, Palmer, Haaland, captain, Watkins, Isak. He said when he sent this to me, if I don't get the green this week, so he's confident. I mean, it does look
so
good.
He's not getting what his team looks very good.
Yeah,
apart from Munoz, the rest is just pretty much as you'd want it, isn't it?
And interestingly, he's playing Son at Liverpool over Gordon at Burnley, so he has gone the other way. It is a tight decision. There's no question. But
I think I'd be playing Robertson over Munoz, by the way.
I would.
If I was him.
Yeah, I would. Because I don't see a Palace clean sheet there. They are in good form, but I do think United could score there. Yeah. Whereas I think Robertson's got that going forward as well. Plus, I don't think a clean sheet's out of the question at all. No. In fact, let's quickly go through our predictions. We predicted goals there, but let's go through from the top. Luton, Everton, I've gone 2-0, you've gone 2-1, so you certainly think Everton will win out there. I think so. I think Everton's form, confidence going into the game will have too much for Luton, who still have got so many injuries. I know they've got plenty to play for, but I'm backing Everton there. Arsenal, Bournemouth, we've both gone home win, 2-0, 3-0 for you. Brentford, Fulham, 2-1, 3-1 home win there as well. Burnley, Newcastle, you see, you've gone a 2-1 Newcastle, I've gone a 3-1, hence the support for Gordon and Isak there. Glad to see you're back in the Forest win, Andy.
I am. I think Sheffield United will score, but I think you'll nick him. I think this will kind of ruin him, if that makes sense. And I just think, 2-1 to you. I do, like I said, fancy him to score, but yeah. Yeah,
fair enough. And then City Wolves, 2-0 you've gone. I've gone the 3-1. I think Wolves will nick one. I think they've got a bit about them going forward. And City find a way.
We're both going City defender as well, though, aren't we?
Yeah. But I think for me, it's City defender for the double, hence go Walker. I'm not necessarily expecting a clean sheet, but that could certainly happen against Wolves. Brighton Villa, we've gone for the away win, no surprise. Brighton have just given up, literally on the beach, aren't they? It's shocking.
I mean, he's even come out and said, hasn't he? He's going to be playing youngsters and just seeing how they are for the rest of the season. So it's it's not been the best for him at the end of this season.
You've gone 2-0 Chelsea. I've gone 2-2. I just think West Ham, London derby, they'll pull something out of the hat. They've done it a few times this season when not expected to. Liverpool Spurs 2-2. You've gone with. I've gone 3-1. So hence why you're worried about Son. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's going to be goals in that game. I think both teams are just not perfect at the moment. I think there's going to be goals.
And it's Palace Man United. I've gone 2-1 Palace. You've gone 2-1 United. Hence no clean sheet for Munoz there. I don't know where to put the Garden Centre game, but I think it's Brighton Villa live. It is, isn't it? Then it's got to be Brighton Villa, I'm afraid.
Yeah, because of Brighton.
If you need to go to the Garden Centre, make sure it's between 2 and 4 o'clock. So you miss the Brighton Villa game and you make the Liverpool Spurs at 4:30 is my tip.
Lovely.
There. We'll end on that. It's been great to be back with you, Andy. I've missed you, really. I've got to say.
Oh, thank you, mate. No, I've missed you too. It's now you've gone, back above me. It's been nice to stream with you again.
But it is close. So there's a little bit of interest at the end of the season for us. You're 20-odd points behind. You could make that up.
About 20. We've both got bench boosts, though, haven't we? I think you're probably going to nip me, to be honest. I don't think there's going to be enough, unless Foden, cameos and gets you 1 point and Haaland absolutely hauls. I think I'm going to be struggling a little bit, but we'll see.
I think, that's what makes me nervous about doing something different with the captaincy, because I could go for Foden and Haaland could come in, but I do fancy it. I do just fancy a little too, and it makes it a bit more interesting between us.
Make it interesting. Exactly. For the punters.
Thank you very much for the 1,057 that have tuned in to watch us right now on a Thursday evening. Normally we do this kind of thing on a Friday night. Andy and I will do a couple more before the end of the season. I promise you that. I'm back with Az next week when hopefully he's downed his cow pole and he's back fully fit with us. But thank you very much for everyone in the chat, everyone who's tuned in, and for everyone who listened on the podcast. Leave us a like, subscribe if you're new here, leave us a review on the podcast because Az loves reading them. And all that remains is to say thank you very much, Andy, for joining me tonight.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. I really enjoyed it, as I always do.
And it's a good night for me while I find the credits. Where are the credits? There they are. Good night for me.
Good night from me.